talking, or is it a little bit more personal now?
Yeah, right now, I get selling the fight, but it's getting that crossing the line, in my opinion. He's saying certain things that it's no place for. So it's plenty of ways to hype the fight. Fight already hyped up. You could trash talk, you do that, but when you start bringing in kids and family and stuff like that, talking out the side of your neck, that's not good business and that's not good practice. A lot of people could turn a lot of people off with that.
It didn't come. We all just waited. And not only that the knockout didn't come, Tank was, I think Roach was getting the better of him than Tank was getting of him. So, I mean, that's why I lean toward Roach. And basically, this next fight, I think that if Tank doesn't start fast, be looking for whatever it is he's going to try to do within the first 5 rounds or 4 rounds, I think he's going to lose. I think that he's going to lose to Roach.
Try to give it the draw, but I think Tank could come in a little different, but I think Roach will still be there to counter.
No matter what Gervonta Davis does, some boxing experts don't think he can win the rematch. In fact, a few have even called it a dangerous move for him. Just recently, Fight Hub TV spoke with Timothy Bradley Jr. in Las Vegas. During a brief interview, they asked what he thought about Tank's recent draw. Bradley didn't sugarcoat anything. He said the fighter with over 300 wins and 28 knockouts knows his own skills, but after seeing how strong Lamont Roach Jr. was, both mentally and physically, in their March 1st fight, he now understands there's still more to improve.
It's gonna be interesting to see, man.
So do we see the same when Gervonta rematches Lamont Roach?
Could be. Yeah, because the styles make fights, man. And obviously, Lamont Roach, man, look, anybody that can take a shot and that's tough, bro, and that can take it to Tank, they can beat him. All right? Roach.
For some reason, he's convinced that Lamont Roach has figured Gervonta Davis out.
You're not motivated and stuff like that, so it can be very, very tough. So I just hope that he get the help he need. And I think Lamont Roach did a great job that fight. I think if he'd been a little bit more aggressive, he could have really won, like a unanimous decision. But he kept stepping off the gas. So, now that he can take Tank punch, I think Lamont will be...
It might end the same way. Styles matter in boxing. Lamont Roach, or anyone who can take a punch and keep coming, has a real shot at beating Tank. Roach is mentally strong, stuck to his game plan, moved forward when needed, and managed the pressure well. He hit hard enough to make Tank respect him. He landed clean shots, stayed sharp mentally, and went toe-to-toe with Davis. He stayed focused and delivered when it counted.
He handled his business. He did exactly what he's supposed to do. He did a great job. Him and his team had him ready. The second time around, look, Tank.
Talking about the rematch, Bradley said that if Davis wins, it'll help him get back in the fans' good graces, even with all the controversy. He said Tank knows his own strengths, knows he's a tough opponent, and understands his style brings challenges too. Bradley believes Tank will take a step back, look at what needs fixing, and come in better prepared. He also highlighted that the Reaper knocked Tank down in the 9th round, and that moment alone should be all the motivation Tank needs to bounce back stronger.
Tank knows what he brings. Tank knows he's a tough opposition. Tank knows that his style is tough as well. I'm sure Tank's gonna go back to the drawing board and see where they can improve in or improve on, and they're gonna come back and they're gonna...
Bradley, clearly frustrated, said if getting a draw, losing a big fight with Jake Paul, and being forced into a rematch doesn't light a fire under Tank, then nothing will. He added that the WBA lightweight champ's name is being dragged through the mud, and many of the fans who once backed him are now turning away. That's just how boxing works. To stop that from happening, Tank has to prove a lot, not just to himself but to his supporters too. Bradley made it clear. If Tank shows up in the rematch and performs the way he should have the first time, all the hate will fade. Fans may criticize fast, but they forgive just as fast when a fighter shows up and delivers.
It's gonna be interesting to see, man.
So do we see the same when Gervonta rematches Lamont Roach?
Could be. Yeah, because the styles make fights, man. And obviously, Lamont Roach, man, look, anybody that can take a shot and that's tough, bro, and that can take it to Tank, they can beat him. All right? Roach, he's mentally tough, had his game plan, was able to execute, was able to march forward in spots. He was able to control a lot of the action.
After that, it's back to the big fights. maybe even that long-rumored clash with Jake Paul. Bradley believes Paul could be Tank's next target, but only if he takes care of business first. Still, if you missed the buzz, let's be clear. The Jake Paul versus Gervonta Davis fight was actually in the works.
Did you see Davis's last fight against Roach?
Yes.
You did see it?
Yeah.
Because I know you don't, these days, you don't always watch all the fights. And what'd you think of the fight?
I thought Roach won the fight. It was a close fight.
You see Davis?
I think Davis has to start taking boxing seriously. You know, it's not just a media kind of thing. I don't know. I don't know the kid.
I think would beat Davis. I really believe that. But that's why they do the fights, you know? You get in the ring and you determine who's better.
Bob Arum has now added his voice to the growing number of boxing insiders who believe the March 1st fight between Lamont Roach and Gervonta Davis was fixed. He claimed the officials that night were working against Roach, pointing out that Tank had plenty of reasons to lose, yet still won messy rounds across all the judges' scorecards. This pushed the top-ranked promoter to speak out against how the fight was judged. While he supports the idea of a rematch, he made it clear that the favoritism seen in the first bout shouldn't happen again, especially with the whole world watching this time.
But he seemed sort of ordinary.
In that fight, to you. Do you think, you know, he wins the rematch, though? Perhaps he comes in with a better mindset?
I have no idea.
Yeah.
I don't know the kid.
Yeah.
So I don't know if he's capable of changing.
What made you want to, usually, sometimes you don't watch these.
Legendary boxing promoter Bob Arum didn't hold back after Gervonta Davis's controversial draw with Lamont Roach on March 1st. Speaking to Shah Zittel, Arum said he felt Roach deserved the win, even though it was a close fight. He urged Davis to start treating boxing seriously again, warning that it's not just about media hype. In Arum's view, Davis looked average and unsure if he can still improve. Despite being 30-0-1, Davis had a rough night, even going down in the 9th round, a moment the referee didn't count as a knockdown, which stirred even more debate.
You want to tune in that time? You wanted to get a good look at him?
Yeah, I want to get a look at him because he's been mentioned as a possible opponent for fighters that I promote.
Are you looking at Keyshawn Davis as potentially like the flagship fighter of the company now? The guy to build around?
I really think so. I think
Shakur beats him. I think Teofimo beats him. And I think Lomachenko beats him. Well, Tank Davis is an excellent fighter, and he's a big attraction. So sure, we would like to match any of the guys that you've mentioned against Tank Davis and see how well they would do. I like our guys to win the fight, but that's why they do the fights, right? So again, we're open to any of that.
Arum's interest in Davis's career isn't just casual. He's been eyeing him as a possible opponent for top-ranks rising stars like Keyshawn Davis, Raymond Muratalla, and Abdullah Mason. But after the Roach fight, Arum is starting to question where Davis is really headed. I wanted to see how he looked, since he's been mentioned as a possible matchup for some of my fighters, Arum explained. Now, he believes Davis might instead chase bigger paydays against someone like Jake Paul or even go for a rematch with Ryan Garcia.
You know, as far as Tank Davis is concerned, I think that more and more we're talking with BBC and we'll be making fights with them.
Is part of,
That said, Davis is expected to face Roach again sometime soon, though nothing has been confirmed yet. He could still choose a different opponent. Their first fight ended in a majority decision draw, with scores of 115-113 and 2 cards at 114-114. However, Roach has officially appealed the result, mainly due to a controversial moment in round 9 involving referee Steve Willis. After Roach landed a left hand, Davis dropped to one knee. Willis started a 10 count, then suddenly stopped and chose not to call it a knockdown. Davis later said he went down to wipe his eyes because grease from his braids was bothering him. But boxing rules don't allow fighters to take timeouts on their own, meaning that moment should have been ruled a knockdown.
Judge at the ringside, Eric Marlinsky scores on 115-113 in favor of Gervonta Davis. Judges Steve Weisfeld and Glenn Feldman both scores about 114 to 114, even a draw. The decision is a majority draw.
If Davis's kneel down had been ruled a knockdown, Roach likely would have won on all three judges' scorecards. Two of the three judges actually gave round 9 to Davis, but if the knockdown had been counted, they probably would have scored it 10-8 for Roach. That would have shifted the final scores to 114 to 113, 114 to 113, and 115 to 112, all in Roach's favor. The New York State Athletic Commission does allow the use of instant replay to overturn referee calls when needed, but a technical issue on fight night made that kind of review impossible.
What's going through your mind when you heard the decision?
Nobody like a draw, from a guy that get knockouts and things like that, but it's cool. I feel like if we fight again, I could do more, and I should have did more. I was lost in I lost track in the rounds. That's why we need what is it called? Yeah, man.
In its final ruling, the NYSAC admitted that Roach should have been awarded a knockdown in the 9th round and acknowledged that referee Steve Willis made a mistake. Although the commission has the authority to correct such errors and adjust the fight's result, they chose not to make any changes and left the outcome as a draw. Despite that decision, Roach still has a solid shot at getting a rematch with Davis, a fight that would likely come with a much bigger payday than their first meeting.
I didn't know what round it was. Facts.
Tank, Eric Blum from DailyMail.com. First off, your coach just said, can you confirm, did you get your hair done 2 days before the fight?
Yeah. I ran water over it today, but I must ain't do it enough.
Can you describe what the feeling was like in the ring?
Since Davis holds a WBA title, the WBA has the authority to mandate a rematch with Roach, and if Davis refuses, he could be stripped of his belt. WBA President Gilberto Mendoza told The Ring that he's ready to order a second fight between the two. Recently, Roach appeared on the All the Smoke Fight podcast with Andre Ward, where the March 1st bout was a major topic. During the conversation, Roach shared that officials reached out to him after reviewing the fight. He also opened up about how the referee's careless actions during the bout didn't sit well with him.
Somebody got to take the fall. And it ain't going to be him. So, like, they owned up to it. Like, all right, we missed this. They owned up to it. It's like, but they just saying, like, all right, we're not going to overturn it, though. We're going to, apologize and give you your flowers, but you ain't going to get what you want. That's basically what I got.
During the interview, Ward asked Roach, "What reason did the New York State Athletic Commission give you for not overturning the decision?" Roach said the commission claimed that officially scoring the knockdown would have changed the entire fight, not just the score but also how Gervonta Davis might have approached the remaining rounds. Since no one could predict how Davis would have reacted, they argued the outcome couldn't be changed. Roach described the explanation as vague and said he had to read between the lines. "What I got from that is basically, yeah, we messed up, but someone has to take the fall and it's not going to be him," he said. Roach added that he sees this as the commission's indirect way of admitting the referee made a mistake, but they likely chose not to overturn the result to avoid hurting their own credibility.
And you ain't heard nothing from the ref? He didn't make no statement? He ain't make no statement. That was, I ain't gonna lie, man, that was, from him, that's sad. A lot of times that's what the commissions do though, man. If something bad happened with a ref, they'll protect the referee. Yeah. And they'll try to get in front of it and they'll have a spokesperson come out and it's like, yeah, that's cool sometimes, but if you drop the ball like that and that affects my legacy, my livelihood, because y'all negotiating for a rematch right now, so.
They admitted it but basically said, "We're not going to change the outcome. We'll apologize and give you credit, but you're not getting what you really want," Roach concluded. While it didn't fully satisfy him, he felt some relief finally getting a clear explanation, something that now fuels his motivation heading into a potential rematch. However, what still bothers him is referee Steve Willis's complete silence. "He hasn't said anything," Roach noted. Ward agreed, calling Willis's lack of response a bad look. He emphasized that when an official's decision affects a fighter's legacy, the least they can do is offer an explanation. In Roach's case, the controversial call cost him a career-defining win, and as Ward pointed out, it also weakened his negotiating power for the rematch.
30, I was fighting at 130. Obviously, he was already at the championship level. He got catapulted up there by doing what he was supposed to do, knocking everybody out that they put in front of him. Got Floyd behind him. I was on the hush. I was coming up, though. He's a small guy. I knew he wasn't going to go too far. So, and I knew he can rumble. I knew that he'd be as... I'm not surprised at how good he is or what he's done to other people.
How could anyone forget what went down on March 1st? That night felt more like a blockbuster action movie than a boxing match, full of twists, non-stop tension, and no time to catch your breath. The event pulled in over 19,000 fans, and Gervonta Davis reportedly made between $15 and $20 million. Lamont Roach Jr. also cashed in big, earning a career-high $3 to $5 million for the draw, according to Forbes. With all the drama that unfolded in Brooklyn, it's clear this fight had the potential to generate even more.
Ready for Jamel, he was already champ. He was like, I handle that business, man. We make some money together. So you ain't gotta tell me twice. That's how it's supposed to be. So it's just like all the signs was there. All the signs was there. All I needed was...
Getting ready for Jermall, he was already the champ and told me, handle your business, man, let's make some money together. So I didn't need to be told twice. Everything was lining up. The timing, the signs, everything. All I needed was the chance. While Gervonta Davis has stayed unusually quiet, Lamont Roach Jr. is back in the spotlight, confirming yet another rumor that had fans talking right after the fight. Need a clue? Think June 28, 1997. Ring any bells? That was the night Mike Tyson infamously bit Evander Holyfield's ear in the 3rd round, a move that cost him 2 points and eventually got him disqualified after doing it again. Fast forward 28 years and some fans were asking, did Gervonta Davis try something just as wild in the ring with Roach? Well, Lamont Roach Jr. is finally here to set the record straight.
Oh, whoa. That's another comparison I don't want to make to Mike Tyson, but...
Nah, that's crazy. That's what he do.
In a recent episode of Andre Ward's YouTube show All the Smoke fight, Lamont Roach Jr. dropped an unexpected revelation. The two-division world champ Andre Ward didn't beat around the bush. He asked Roach directly, did Gervonta Davis bite you? The question came up because a clip from the fight has been making the rounds online, sparking plenty of talk. At first, Roach said he hadn't really thought much of it. He shared that even after the fight his dad pointed it out, saying, man, he tried to bite you. Roach admitted he didn't feel anything in the moment.
That first world title, or whatever the case may be, that could put me in that conversation. When he fought Hector, little do a lot of people know, I got the call for that fight too. It was a little crazy, but I got the call for that fight. Couldn't wait. So then, when it really, when we really started talking business, that's when we started weighing our options for real then. Because I did have something on the table. I had something on the table. So people who think I'm taking this fight for money, that wasn't the thing. Because I actually had an offer.
At first, it looked like Gervonta Davis and Lamont Roach Jr. were set to run it back on June 21st in Las Vegas, Nevada. At least that's what several reports suggested. But boxing insider Dan Rafael shut that down in a recent article, saying that while June 21st was the original target, the rematch is now expected to happen later this summer, likely in August. Rafael didn't give a reason for the delay, but a separate report from Keith Idec of Ring Magazine hinted that the holdup is due to Gervonta Davis.
To fight Gervonta or Hector?
To fight Gervonta. I was already mandatory for Hector. They was looking for opponents for him, or whatever the case may be. It might be on the scramble, whatever the case may be. They didn't get a big fight like they wanted to. So that's why he went to 30 and see if Hector wanted to fight. But I did get the call, though. And of course, we said yes. We just ain't get a call back.
So y'all was like a backup?
I wouldn't say a backup. You never know how serious it was.
Keith Idec reported that the T-Mobile Arena in Las Vegas had been reserved specifically for the Davis vs. Roach rematch on June 21st. Everyone involved was just waiting on Gervonta "Tank" Davis to confirm the date and venue with a post on social media. But after about a month of silence, Davis, who holds the WBA lightweight title, decided he needed more time to get ready for the rematch. That last-minute change of heart is what ultimately scrapped the June 21st plan and pushed the fight to later in the summer.
Higher than the Tank fight.
Oh, for real?
Yes. To defend my belt. So for all the people who think I was, he doing it for a check. That's what I'm saying. I just even wanted to shut people up.
Yeah. I mean,
that's
doing it for a check. We ain't doing it just for the check.
We ain't doing it just for the check. But trust me, because don't forget, this is business.
It's prize fighting. Yeah.
It's prize fighting for a reason.
Absolutely.
But I did have a better offer.
It's no surprise that Davis had the final say on the rematch date. He's the bigger name after all. But the fact that he asked for more time to prepare shows just how seriously he's taking this second fight with Roach. That's it for now. For all the latest boxing news, highlights, and updates, make sure you're subscribed to our YouTube channel. Hit that notification bell so you never miss a drop. Until next time, peace.